So a little bit of background about what is Siteimprove. It's a web tool that crawls and reviews our websites. It tracks misspelled and potentially misspelled words and broken links, and it provides us with our web analytics. Each county office receives 2 monthly reports, and those are sent to the county's main email address. All right, so we're going to start off talking a little bit about our quality assurance report. We also call that a QA report for short. First off, we'd like to just say quality of our web content is very essential to the success of our websites. Misspelled words, broken links, they can affect a visitor's perception of our overall organization. So we want to keep everything as up-to-date and correct as we possibly can. This monthly quality assurance report can help you with that because it gives you an easier way to locate the issues that are there, any quality errors that could potentially damage our visitors' experience. Each one of you should actually get an email every month that gives you the opportunity to download this report. It will automatically bring you to a page that looks just like this. We're using Bartow County as an example today. So our first thing we're going to go over is just how to use the report. So we have several sections here. The first one is pages with broken links. And if you notice, there have been a few changes and updates to the report. So there's this new section called Instructions for Use that gives you a little bit of information about how to use this section that you're currently viewing. When you click on the page here, it's going to take you over to another page that opens up within Siteimprove. You'll see that you're always listed as a guest user. You should never have to actually log in to Siteimprove to be able to view any broken links or misspelled words. So to see your broken links, you can see in your left-hand column, we have an issues bar. We have a links heading, and then we have a tab that says broken links, and it says that there are 3 on this particular page. So when you click on that, you see that our broken links are highlighted in red. That gives you, it shows you exactly on the page where you need to go to fix the problem. It also gives you the actual link, and it tells you that it is 404 not found. You can open the broken link in a new window, and again, it shows you that the page is not found. So you can look on this site and try to find the correct link if there is one. If not, you would need to remove it or find something else to link to back on your page. So to actually correct the issue, you have to go into AEM and open your website and go to this page, which it shows you which page you're on. Up here in this top bar at all times, it'll show you what page you're viewing. So we're on the A&R page. And we can go in and actually make any corrections that we need to at this point. You can see as you click down the list here of occurrences, it takes you to the next issue and then the next. And this one you can see is not actually highlighting a word, so this probably means that the broken link is in the HTML code in the background. And if you need help with fixing those kind of issues, Melissa or I would be glad to help you. But there is a way that you can edit HTML in the rich text box when you're in AEM. But again, if you need any assistance with any issues like this that show up and you can't actually click on the link, we'll help you out with that. Next thing we're going to look at is misspellings. So we'll pick a page This page says it has one misspelled word and one word for review that's a possibly misspelled word. We can look at our misspelling. Again, it's going to highlight in red. You can see what the problem is. You can go in AEM and fix that misspelled word. And then here's a word to review. This is a correct term. It's something that we use within the organization. So you'll see if you come over here, you cannot make any decisions for including a word in the dictionary, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But if you want a word included so that it doesn't show up as a potentially misspelled word, you can let me know. You can contact us at CAS Web, and we will get that added to the dictionary so that it no longer appears as a misspelled word on your list. Okay, a new thing that's been added to our reports recently is PDFs with broken links. When you review this list, look for the ones that are actually on your website. For example, you see the URL and it actually says this is under the Extension County offices. It's in the Bartow County folder. So you would be able to go in and correct those. There may be some, for example, like this one. You see this is actually on a departmental website, so they would have to fix that broken link. But you can take a look at the PDF. You see it highlights the broken link, and again, you would need to go in and find an updated link or either remove this from your PDF document. And then you would have to save the new document and upload it as a new asset, replacing the old one. And usually it is better to just replace the PDF with a new one with the same name. Otherwise, you have to go in and you also have to update the links on the website. Okay, our next section is priority pages, and this is just another way to look at ways to pinpoint which pages would be most important for you to update first. And those are generally the ones that have the lowest, what we call a QA score. And let's talk about that for a minute. Okay, what is the QA score? Your site's QA score is determined by its performance in 4 subcategories. And we're going to talk about each one of these individually. The first one is content quality. And that's the editorial quality of a site's content. It affects how quickly users are able to comprehend what you've written on the page. To get a high score in this area, you need to have few misspellings, if any, and a good readability score. So what is readability? Readability is how easy or how hard it is for a user to read your content. It's determined by vocabulary, characters, word length, and sentence length. So always think about your audience when you're writing your content. If you're writing for 4-H kids, make sure that you are writing at a level that they easily understand. If you're writing for a peer, you may use bigger words, more organizational type language than you would for a 4-H student. All right, then we have content freshness. That is how up to date the site's content is, which affects user retention and engagement. It impacts the site's rankings with search engines. So what we need to do is make sure that we're frequently adding new pages and that we're updating our documents and our images and media files. The next subcategory of the QA score is user experience. What is it? It's how conducive a site's content is to the smooth navigation of a site. So we need to make sure that we have few or no broken links, few or no non-PDF documents, because other documents like Word docs may not be accessible by everyone. And we need to keep our images under 1 megabyte. And the last thing is security. This is not something that you guys have to worry about too much, because we monitor our website security, but just make sure that you never put any personal IDs, social security numbers, and that type of thing on your websites. This section of the QA report talks about, it basically just gives you a report of how often your site has been checked for misspelled words and broken links, how many pages you have, how many links you have on your site, how many broken links you have, broken links in PDFs, misspellings, and potential misspellings. And basically, you can use this information to track and see if you have been using your report to correct errors. You should see these numbers reduce over time. Web Analytics provides us with information on how many people have actually visited your website, what keywords they use to find your site, how long they stayed on any page within your site. It just gives you a general report, so you kind of get an idea of the health of your site and what people are looking at. So we're going to take a look at a report, and we'll again go through each section of the report. So to start off with, we have a list of visits with a chart and a list of page views here with a chart. Visits is going to be in your first box. That's how many people have actually come to your pages and how many visits the pages have had in any specific period. And in this example, it's for 1 month. These reports are sent out at the first of each month and cover the previous month. We have the page views, that is actually how many times each page has been viewed. It may have been viewed by the same person or different people, but that's how many times the actual page has been viewed. So this metric bar, it's the same on both charts. But if you want to take a look at it real quickly, you'll see that one thing we want to talk about is unique visitors. And those are people who have actually come to your site during the last month. No matter how many times they visited, they will be counted. So if one person visits your site 6 times and another person visits twice, then that's 2 unique visitors with a total of 8 visits. So unique visitors, one thing that's a little tricky about that number is that a person may use a desktop computer. They may also use their phone to look at your site. So they could show up as actually 2 unique visitors because they're visiting from different devices. But it still gives you a rough estimate of how many people are actually coming to your site, unique people. Then we have the returning visitors, which is the number of people who have actually visited your site more than 1 time during the month. And in this case, you'll see underneath the numbers, you see the +7. That means it's up from last month by 7 people. So this is a good thing to look at because it shows that people do come back to your site for more information and they're checking back in. So you want that number to remain high. Bounce rate, this is another really tricky number. It really just tells you how many people came to the page and how quickly they bounced away to go to another site. So 52% came to your site and either found what they needed and immediately left, or hopefully they found what they needed. But if they didn't, you know, they obviously left to go to another website. But we'd like to keep this number around 50%, so this is a good bounce rate to have. If your number is extremely high, over 50%, we may need to look at what's going on there. But one thing, if we run down here, for example, these entry pages where people are coming in to become a Master Gardener page. Well, there's a 71.43% bounce rate, but that probably means that the person has found what they needed to know about becoming a Master Gardener, and then they left the page. Next on our analytics report, we have just a summary. It gives you an idea of where people are coming from to look at your website, if they're using desktop, mobile, or tablet, what operating system they use, what browser they use, and what resolution they're viewing it in. Some of that information may not be of interest to you, but it's there if you're interested. The next thing we have is the countries, and this is broken out. And you can see from November's visitors, 422 of the visitors were from the United States, but they also had 18 people from China and one person from Poland who looked at their website. There were a couple that were private. And then you can also see, as far as devices, there were 313 people looking on desktop, 110 on mobile, and 21 on tablet. Traffic sources. So we have direct traffic, which is people who know the URL and they're going directly to a page on your site. We have search engines, which means they're using Google or Yahoo or something like that to do a search. They come up with your website and then they click. Then we have external referrers, which are other websites that include your domain. And then finally, social media. So if you have a social media presence, Facebook or Twitter, you can use that to drive people to your website. And this will show you how that is doing. You can actually see the external domains who are referring to your page. So you may want to work with some of these other websites to give you more presence on their pages to drive more people to your website. The external search terms, in this case, largely were not provided, but you can see what people searched for using search engines like Google. Then we have entry pages. This actually shows you how people enter your websites. These could be considered your landing pages. So you need to be sure that your visitors are finding what they need on these pages, even if they never go to another page on your website. So this just gives you an overview, again, as you're editing and putting up new content, to stop and think, oh, these are the pages that people are coming in to view, and I really need to make sure that the content is what they need to find. And the next list is most popular pages. Again, you can use this as a way to judge where you need to spend the most time and energy on your web content. You can see what PDFs are being viewed, etc. And then we have behavior tracking. And in this case, it's showing that the main extension page is the most popular page during the month of November. I need to see if I can fine-tune this to the counties, because I'm afraid it might be the case that extension is showing up as the main focus page on everybody's report. If you find that to be the case, if you could let me know, and I'll see if we can fine-tune this a little bit more. But this is actually, this shows you what percentage of people come in, how they come in, the most popular page in our web presence, and then where they went from there. And then at the end, there's a little glossary that tells you a little bit more about the terminology that's been used if you need to go back and refer to it.